PC, but now that I see it, it looks like I just restarted my PC and the uh, the internet went down. A sort of the Wi-Fi just decreased in in bars. So let me look at my Wi-Fi real quick to see where we're at. We got some chat. Get the chat open here real quick, and the quality's not too bad. Not too bad, not too bad. Okay, I just wanted to get on here and go live, even though I'm kind of recovering from the flu a little bit, or a cold or something. Um, and on the I would say on the recovery side for sure of this uh uh this time. But I've been getting a lot of messages from the clips that I've been putting out about specifically about affiliate marketing and my journey in affiliate marketing from when I began to where I currently am. And I want to share a little bit about the journey. So this is something I think is kind of like one of those things that's people people tend to kind of undervalue. And the reason why they undervalue is because like anybody can get an affiliate link, right? And they think that it's sort of a bottom feeder uh business model. And to a lot of a lo- to not discredit what those people are saying, the naysayers and the people who are negative about affiliate links, is there's a lot of spam content out there when it comes to these types of links and stuff. But it should be noted that if you are going to be doing any sort of promotion, sponsorship, paid marketing, an affiliate link is incredibly valuable because it is just another form of commission sales, right? And so if you're a creator and you're creating content to influence people to do something, it could be in any culture, any place. It could be gaming, like where a lot of what I do started, or it could be in music, fashion, makeup. It could be in anything UGC, user generated content, faceless content, coaching, business, a lot of different categories. And affiliate marketing is one of the top ways to earn while you have a lower number of influence, right? So if you have just gotten started out and you don't really want to do personal content, you want to be a private person, you can do faceless content. So you create content about the brands, or you create content about a niche that's correlated with the brands. Now, I just wanted to kind of preface that so that we could get into like my backstory. So I uh, I had known about affiliate marketing, I would say even when I was in high school. It wasn't something that I was really like connected to in a big way. I was more in like the survey space when I was in high school. So I think that my mom had signed me up for like a teen surveys site where I would, fill out surveys and based on like teen experiences and purchase patterns and these different things. And I would get a check in the mail when I completed those surveys. Um, and then I think I did some game testing as well when I was younger. I know I did it when I was in young adult, but like I think I might have done some game testing when I was in high school and early on in college. Um, I would say I really got familiar with affiliate marketing when I was, you know, a freshman sophomore in college when I started to do some blogging, some video content, some vlogging, some different stuff. I never was like a full-time creator, even a I would say even a hobbyist creator at this time. I was more of just somebody who was studying, studying the trends, studying these things. I wasn't passive consumer like a lot of us are in different things. I was studying live streaming. I was studying these things, and I'll also admit that I had a lot of anxiety around content creation and making content and being a personal brand or even a niche brand or a business brand. Like I had a lot I did not like I did have this anxiety, and, to this day, I would say there's a level of anxiety, on the spectrum of anxiety, uh, much less because I've definitely experienced a lot of the negative things that I thought I was trying to avoid. I've experienced them, like not getting any viewers, not, n not getting any growth, not these things that people are afraid of because they think that they'll put themselves out there and nothing's gonna happen. Well, the thing is what you're really afraid of is nothing overnight is gonna happen. No, you're not gonna have this overnight success, and overnight success isn't really overnight success. It's people who overcome that anxiety and just continue to put in the work day after day, getting taking the actions that they need to take in order to grow their audience, right? And so again, I wasn't a practitioner at the highest level when it comes to being a creator or being an entrepreneur or being an employee or any of these things. I actually was like kind of very much uh, a bench warmer in this sense, if from a sports terminology, a bench warmer in this sense because and even then I would even say I was more of of a external vendor. I wasn't even participating, but I was kind of in the at the event, in the community, around the culture. I was always around, but not really a deep participant. People may or may not even known I was, involved with anything. Kind of I wouldn't even there's not a great way to explain it. Some people would say a failure, somebody would say a bystander, some people might say it a lot of different ways as to, like, the participation level, maybe lazy, maybe there's a lot of things. There's positives, there's negative terminology for kinda describing the way that I've been involved with anything creator economy related or anything like that, but people have been asking me based on like I assume based on um the amount of traction and consistency in the way that I have done affiliate marketing that I have my small streams of revenue. I have they're not, you know, not one of them is a full income replacement, but together they do create a sense of passive income that has afforded me to be able to slowly but gradually add additional things to my business, to my personal brand, to my lifestyle, to these different things. And so affiliate marketing has been the primary way that I've been able to accomplish a lot of the stuff that I do. And I will have to say that, you know, I've earned a lot more through affiliate marketing than I have through sponsorship. Although I've earned some through sponsorship based on particular campaigns and particular things that I've been able to help brands out in very specific situations, not broadly, like if you're a major influencer and you get a big brand deal and you're mass marketing to a large audience of wide demographic. Mine has always been a direct demographic. Either I'm attending an event and then it's tied in with the event as an event sponsorship for a particular activation, or I have a particular niche and I'm targeting that particular niche, or I work with a brand on a specific campaign for a specific product, and we get that. We do that in a form of a user generated content. I spoke about surveys. There's a number of different ways that sponsorships direct money for direct action, uh, without the expectation of result. I've also done that as well, and that's I think primarily what people want from create content creation and influence. That's I think people are their minds go to what can I get for what can I get paid for ahead of time for work that I will do in the future. That's what people want they because obviously there's there's less risk. The risk is all on the person that's sponsoring as opposed to the risk being on the person that is doing the content creation. But uh, I think unless you get ahead of yourself, um, or for whatever reason you hit the algorithm right, you'll tend to get more affiliate deals as you grow than you will sponsorship deals or brand deals or UGC deals or whatever. Um, that being said, like I think the first ever affiliate deal that I had got was I'm trying to really think about this because I want to think what is my oldest relationship. Of course, so I think the one that people are, most familiar with is the Amazon affiliate program. Um I don't know if that was one of the first things that I applied for and got accepted to, or there was something else. But that one was definitely early on because there's another component of this, and I won't dive too much into it, which is e-commerce. And I think I was wanting to create merchandise for one of my early projects, my local project for Austin, and I had used Amazon merch for that, and so I had gotten that. But I won't go too deep into e-commerce on this. I'm just going to specifically, you know, uh, speak on affiliate marketing as much as possible to try and give um, a broad understanding of everything affiliate. So, and I've showed my numbers before in other videos. So if you go to my YouTube channel, you'll see numbers. I think that there's like a how do you start a business in 2025 video, which I need to make the how do you start a business in 2026 video, where you see some of the numbers that that I've gotten. Ah, man, I am trying to really think because I could say something like one that comes to mind is like computer parts or gaming accessories and stuff like that. But I don't really think that that was one of the main things. I'm trying to really think on this because when I was doing the local Austin project, um, I was looking for affiliate opportunities in Austin that were locally focused, and I wasn't really able to find anything. I think I wanted to do like a sponsorship or like a affiliate with Yeti coolers at the time, and I think they denied me. And so yeah, I've been through the ups and downs of this in affiliate marketing as well. I think I think a lot of what my thoughts were on affiliate marketing was ahead of the economy in a lot of ways because I was doing live streaming when when live streaming was still difficult to do. It's much easier to do now. You can pretty much do it on your phone easily, on all the main live streaming platforms. I was, early adopter of OBS. Not the earliest. I wouldn't say I was a real early bird on it, but I was early in learning OBS, and using it to create content. That was like 20 I would say like 2014 was the first time I ever downloaded it. Didn't use it probably consistently until 2015. Um, maybe I've even downloaded it before 2014, but maybe didn't use it. But I guess we can kinda, like, speak on that a little bit because OBS is an interesting software where you can basically at the time, overlays had really developed where CLR browsers, were able to insert, um, overlay graphics so you could do, like, donations and, like, promote e-commerce, and you could also, promote your affiliate if someone had bought from an affiliate, they could, like, basically reroute them if they used your promo code through the CLR browser to make an alert that someone had bought something. I think early days people had, I know this is an early one that I had gotten into, but I don't think this was the first, was like energy drink sponsors, beef jerky sponsors, deodorant sponsors, just like random kind of like affiliate marketing e-commerce products that people would buy. And the reason why I'm going through this first is because I will get into the B2B side here shortly, but I didn't really have a B2B side until um I would say 2019. I would say maybe a little bit earlier because of softwares and whatnot, but the B2C side was where, I was looking for like partnerships with, or not partnerships, but affiliations with like Razor. Uh I was trying I did and a seed. I think I did like a few different affiliate sponsorships when it comes to like e-commerce products. Uh what else? Uh yeah, I would say like CPG products, consumer packaged goods, any e-commerce sort of product. That was really that was the beginning of it. That was really the beginning of my affiliate journey. Now, I uh, my personal brand started to align more with B2B toward 2019 because while I was spinning my wheels, doing the thing that everyone that not everyone, but a lot of creators do, which is work in the gig economy, when their art or their creativity isn't quite refined, or they don't have they weren't, I guess, gifted in a lot of ways with like innate obsession with art and creativity. In a lot of ways, you meet these type of people who are what's the word for it, eclectic in a way, or quirky. They're able to like reference like everybody in their genre. They reference, they associate themselves and do try to do this match pairing thing to connect themselves to things that they may or may not have been connected to. Uh, but these people are very gifted in a sense because they have a talent uh, and a skill early on in order to kind of convince people to do or buy or look at things, right? That's not necessarily what I was good at, and I was neither good at being an entrepreneur or being a employee. Uh, and it's difficult to be both at the same time, be an employee and an entrepreneur. Um, you can the thing is that if you be the thing is it's if you become it's a lot of intensity levels, obviously. But if you become an employee, hopefully the company that you're working for is values you greater than the alternative options, right? And so that was never the case really with me. I had a few times where I had convinced some people that I would be a good option for a short period of time. Um, and that whether they knew that it was gonna be long term or short term is neither here nor there, but they at least had been convinced that I would be a good, team member for at least a short period of time. Um, and a lot of the opportunities that I engaged with were high turnover, engagements in terms of the employee side, and I'm not trying to get just, derailed here, but I just wanted to kinda, like, highlight the times in which I was trying to juggle both entrepreneurship and um, employment, right? Entrepreneurship, you could say, but nowhere was I really influencing in an organization like that. I when I when I was in a place where I was in all honesty, spending more than I was earning to do gig economy work, from washing cars to driving cars to, uh, waiting tables, serving drinks, all of this was upside down. Uh, and not for nothing, that's I think the case for a lot of people, maybe the vast majority of people. Um, they're upside down. They're not making more than their cost of living. Uh, and I was even further beyond that. There was no, it wasn't until 20 uh past 2020. Well, there was a period in which I attempted to do something different with my life and, you know, uh couch surf, but I think that, you know, I have been fortunate enough to have family to support me foundationally, um, by bouncing around as a young adult and an adult, um, to find something, I'm 32 now. Affiliate marketing is a component of what I do. Brand deals is a component of what I do. Content creation and ad revenue is a component of what I do. Production is a component of what I do, and I'm able to make enough to that I could potentially go and do the negative equity of of living as a rent slave. Uh, but realistically speaking, much like a lot of my, peers right now, um, it would be better to live in a 10 by 10 box that you own on some raw land, or, if you can afford to have wheels on it, in a camper trailer, with a beat up, you name it, that has enough power to pull it around, caravan, than to be um, paying these the fees uh, in apartments or townhomes, or you name it, when you're barely, keeping your head above water just based on the cost of living and any sort of debt leverage that you can put together in order to survive. I mean, realistically speaking, when we hear about people who are expatriating um, to uh, countries with lower economic circumstances or with lower costs of living, these people are investing the same amount of capital that they would expend to just live in their cars in whatever, Western nation that they choose to live in. Um, and so, these are just I don't know. I am inserting sort of my own opinion and thoughts into what I'm discussing right now. But the reason why I wanted to go down that route was because that you can make a after you spend in time and effort, you can make a level of semi-passive income from affiliate marketing if you are doing it whilst growing your personal brand, or a brand, I should say. And then here's the problem that I was mentioning earlier that I didn't really get into. The problem was that when I was ahead of time with the live streaming stuff, I didn't have the established um I didn't have the established audience of a blogger or a traffic source like a lot of the older established creators had, especially on the B2B side, and enough on the B2C side because it just f I never got the blog thing never clicked with me. Even though I made apps and I made websites and stuff like that, I wasn't around to understand the traffic generation for those sites. So I never learned the free way of generating traffic to those things, either through pre-social media or post-social media. I never really got into the any sort of copywriting, any sort of podcasting, really. I never was in graphic design. I never connected with these things because I was always a consumer of IRL content. I was always a consumer of gaming content. I was always a consumer of music, right? So these are the things and the ways that I kind of had my perspective on creativity, on monetization, on culture. That was my viewpoint, and many times conflicted with a lot of other people's viewpoints because they had a traditional perspective on what they inherited from, their cousins, their mothers, their uncles, their aunts, their grandmothers, whatever, whoever, whatever that was. They had that vantage point, and they didn't know how to engage with someone who was fresh off the boat in this brand new world, in a sense. And that's the way I always felt. I felt like a digital immigrant because, like, no one around me, uh, was really doing anything in this space. Everybody that was in my family has done everything the traditional way. It was never through technology that they, accomplished or, strive to gain anything. Like, that was not something that was around me. So I'm kind of one of the first to have engaged with it. And now so more so is like I kind of compete with the, this these other components of attention, right? That attention is what it's all about at the end of the day. And some people get more personal attention or consumer attention than they get commercial attention. And so like I would I never fell into I never wanted to be in the consumer attention, like vanity like space. I never wanted to be like I don't know, like just popular for popular's sake. The only reason why I want popularity is to make money, right? That's the only thing that kind of ever mattered to me. And I was practical in the senses that I wanted to do do something, and in doing something, that the value of what I did was greater than was greater than the value that I receive, but I needed to make that exponential in order for it to over I needed to get more attention and more, people who were who like aligned with that. And at this time, I happen to be a little bit further down the road with that. Maybe it's because the systems have caught up with the vision that I saw. Um, and I wasn't a pioneer in the vision either. So it was like I was never a really great editor. I was never a really good audio engineer. I was never a really good anything in particular. When it comes to learning how to grow and learning how to scale, those things like those came from watching other people do it the right way, uh, that were at the top, right? And I'm still, stubborn and running straight, straight into a wall, uh, because it's like it is the way that it is that my brain doesn't necessarily give me the information that I need in order to be able to turn around, look left, look up, turn, whatever it takes in order to do what needs to be done in order to stop, you know, move left or right to avoid the wall that's coming toward me. So for instance, I see these new established long-term creators who were in the blog space, who were in music, who were in acting, who were in these older modalities, older mediums, coming into the medium that I have been running my head into. And with their existence and whatever it is, maybe they were, reserved or they're secretive of their style, the way that they do it, and they protect their method or whatever it is. And so like that method hadn't yet gotten into this the current version of where I saw things, like not saw it but felt it. It's a sensory thing of how there was a lot of chatter, of course, of how people would, I mean, there's still chatter of stuff that I think is like way far out. Um, like augmented, like this whole, like everyone is in augmented reality. That's further down the line than even I think. Um, and then there's like a weird kind of like alternative to it, which is like what dimension are people engaged with? Obviously, a lot of people are engaged with the two dimension. A lot of people are readers, so that's why the blogs work the way that they do. Um, and hold on, let me just answer this real quick. Let me do this real quick. Um, so it's like one person might think, video isn't, video is not the thing. It's gonna be, it's gonna be two-dimensional. It's gonna be books. Everyone needs to read books, buy books, do books, 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 books. Other people are saying, might say, oh, it's audio, it's always audio, it's radio, it's podcast, it's like it's one dimensional, it's word of mouth, blah blah blah, bing bong boom. And then another person might say, "Oh, no, it's three-dimensional. It's video, it's live streaming, it's da 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 da." And another person might say, "No, it's fourth dimensional. It's video games. It's an engagement with the world, and you engage with the world, and you engage with other people in this virtual world. Oh, it's fourth dim it's the," and you layer it, layer it, and whatnot. But hey, I'm gonna cut this early. I, maybe there's some value here. Affiliate marketing, partner stack, B2B stuff. I know I didn't. I'm just gonna cut this clip real quick, just so we get it through. Actually, matter of fact, you know what? I'm just gonna mute and I'll be right back. Okay, I was derailing. I was starting to talk about all the different ways that you could promote an affiliate offer, basically. For those people who are maybe sitting in the back of the room, um, and you're probably just watching or consuming something like that, um, because you're just seeing a clip of what I do, and that's why I think that the live streaming aspect is multidimensional, and obviously you can make it more than, than what this is very lazy. Uh, but I'm saying that because I'm being hard on myself in what I'm doing. The the people who do this the best, the iShow Speeds, the Kai Cenats, the the Clavicures, the Neons, the Ice Poseidons, the people who take IRL Jake and Bake, I'm trying to give it up to everybody, big up every IRL streamer who's, pushed the needle. I know there are a lot of IRL streamers now out there, that are, like, international, uh, that have gotten a lot of, praise. I'm trying to think of I mean, I don't really know them like that because I don't really listen to foreign language content and what have you, but there are a lot of creators out there that are up at the top that, I think I buy or something like that, or, I don't really keep up with it, but I should, and then that's, my fault. I just don't know their names. I can recognize their faces and stuff like that because 'cause I'm familiar with what's going on, but when it comes to IRL creators, you in at the top when it comes to English speaking, don't I mean, you also have your Ed Matthews, your Zerkas, you have your other creators that are at the top, when it comes to IRL. of course, you have your legacy creators, like I was watching the Kid Cudi, live stream, first live stream, that was big. The Justin Bieber one, um, Justin Bieber ones, I guess they hit some clips on that. I think if I compare the 2, I would say Kid Cudi did a much better job than Justin Bieber. Um, Unfortunately, man, and I think Justin Bieber could be great. It's just that he's kind of uh, a Madonna a lot of the time, and that's not great. When it comes to live streaming, you kinda have to be real authentic and not be like a complainer all the time, because like the complainers, they don't last. People who are nagging their audience and nagging their chat and being, ugly and spreading negativity, they just don't last. And they think they get caught up on being one guide, one guide all the time that's saying something negative to them, and it's no reason to just like there's no reason to just target that guy. That guy is gonna be d if you get caught up with being one guide, you're you're not s you're seeing, like you're not seeing the forest through the woods, it's like you get trapped in them in the sense of, like, if a tree falls in a forest on the other side of the world, can you hear it? Or whatever I can't even think of the turn of phrase, but, like, obviously you can't. It doesn't matter. It's just, like, just focus on, uh this is, like and then I hear people who are I can hear the people who are saying the opposite of me right now in my own head of like, "Oh, that's good, so much for you to say. You don't have the, X, Y, or Z to even say that." It's like, true. Sound like my mom, but sound like that sounds very feminine to say because it's like how many people are just, sitting just like I was, complaining just like you're complaining about, you know, oh, woulda, coulda, shoulda done this, that, the third. That's that's exactly what I was thinking when I'm watching, you know, uh, a Kid Cudi's first live stream. Like, dang, man, that's what I was doing 10 years ago. Oh, but look at the way that he did it with the resources that he has and the level that he did it at. And like, look at this. And he's referencing somebody who's at the top that got there with this, that, and the third way. And I'm like, dang, bro, am I a hater? No, no, I'm not gonna be a hater. I'm not gonna be a hater on this. I'm gonna look at it, I'm gonna learn from it. And if I'm in that situation again, which most likely I won't be, which is kind of a disappointment and on another aspect, is like that experience and the way that that was, there were things that weren't working out at that time. And then you look at it and you're like, man, I wonder, maybe it's not maybe the thing that happens is that it's not meaningful enough, and then they get caught up in their level or measurement of success is equivalent to the same disappointment that I had at the time. It's like, oh, you don't, you know, it you can't there's a level of comparison if you don't if if you kind of reduce the ratios, right? You have to think about your ratios on your level. You can't compare your ratios to you well, no, you well, you not I want to communicate this correctly, and I'm having a difficult time getting it out. This is one of those walls that I'm running into. Uh, because in the future, maybe my when I look back at this, I'm gonna be like, "This is the way you should have said that," and this happens all the time. Um, It'll be 5 years down the line and, "Oh, this is what you were actually trying to say because now you actually learned your lesson from when you were trying to think of it." The thing I'm trying to say is that you can compare, but you have to compare respective of the level that you're at in the ratios that you currently have. So if you're getting ratioed, that ratio has to be com a math is not wanting to math right now. The 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 way the percentage of love to hate that you get has to be compared on a fractional level to the love and hate that anybody with more notoriety and more fame, more celebrity has than you, right? Because you're not in your environment, you may be able to afford one keyboard, one mic, one drum set, one guitar, one, you know, uh computer, and you that's what you can afford, right? You can't afford to have 3 computers, 3 assistants of 14 cameras, the a full studio, Mr. Beast, this, that, the third, the whole skyline shot with the drone shot flying over, bing bong boom, inside of your bedroom, in your toilet, upside in the chimney, you know, the you your ratio comparison is you're not even fractionally comparing. You're trying to compare a blog to augmented reality contacts with you know, Neuralink and and alien, you know, cybernetics inside of your body. Like you're trying to compare otherworldly greatness at your and listen, in the paradigm of things, like, it is comparative. Like, in the paradigm of whether you have the work ethic, you have the EQ, the IQ, the, dang, I must have to get this out. It's deep in there. This 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 is what this thing that I'm talking about in terms of attention and in terms of attraction and, you know, all of these things as it relates to affiliate marketing, as it relates to it, sometimes your mojo is not gonna be as good as other people's mojo. Your mojo is going to be limited by your resources, your your effort, your proximity, your all of these reasons, and everybody knows this, whether they like to accept it or not, or they wanna make excuses about it, or even if they're at the very tippity top and they're comparing themselves to, you know, maybe even the greats. Like, they could be even thinking, like, "Have I even accomplished my Michael Jackson Super Bowl experience?" Or, you know, like, how do you even I don't know how you, cross your T's and dot your I's, but dude, I'm talking in abstract, um, unintentionally. Oh, man. This is what I'm saying is very, like, why I'm frustrated with religious text right now. I am I wanna communicate value um, in ways that are not, abstract, that are not arbitrary, that are not, like, too confusing that, "Oh, you've gotta use a cipher and uh, well, you have to use a legend and a key and a this and a that to unlock this door and get you know, and bing bong boom, and then open the box, and inside the box all this, and I'm not even trying to screw with people in like a white elephant level, and there's another euphemism to kinda, like, explain the thing because I don't have the words to I don't have the right words at all times to describe, knock on wood, exactly what it is, you know, and I did that all that intentionally these turn of phrases that we use in language as opposed to being direct, and sometimes it's ineffective, and sometimes the indirect approach is the thing that gets the traffic and the engagement, and that's the result of that'll be the result for you that gets you over in in a successful nature to converting the traffic to your offer. An offer is a business terminology that I had, developed, because it's language that people only use in certain cultures. When you get into the affiliate marketing culture at a commercial level, to hear things like publisher, advertiser, um, uh, these things that in creator world are creators, producers, uh, sources, like they're the word to describe this word of being successful. No, I'm kidding. Um, is different. It's a different language. It's like when you hang with your people who you grew up with or who you are getting old with, you know, growing up or getting old, growing up with or getting old with, they'll have two different, not always, obviously. Some people are like really tied to their roots for all times and eternity if they've done well for themselves, uh if they've inherited wealth, if they've done well for themselves due to environment. There's a variety of different ways, but you you hit these hitting notes, ding ding ding, hitting notes. Uh you do these certain things in your life. You learn the way that different people colloquially communicate, and you just do. You can only do that what you know. And a lot of y'all are reaching out to me, and the reason why I'm going in it at all these different angles is to try to get through to those who are in really unfortunate situations. Uh, because you live in a third world country, you are completely outside the ecosystem of the you live outside of the digital ecosystem that was established by some of your peers who had who were at the top of their game, and that they were capable of getting information either relayed to them via I don't know, however which way they got it relayed to them. Um and oh gosh, man, I was trying to getting me to think about current events and what have you, and the consequences of those current events. B- but not to get politically derailed here. That information gets relayed to you. Oh my gosh, not to get esoteric here either, but because I know I did just a moment ago. But that information and that data that you act on, I I am doing my best here to kind of both explain it as well as tell those folks that I've been, that have been reaching out to me, that I can help you access that data and that information. Though there is a give and take, and obviously I take more, because in order for me to open that door for you, I have to take a lot of risk, and I have to take also on infrastructure in order to grant you access to that information. And then maybe because of the and this is what I'm trying to talk about is those ratios. I'm trying to be the best version of myself so that I'm not like, a Justin Bieber or anybody that I see going out and doing it negatively and spewing a bunch of, you know, negative energy towards, people, um, and getting one guide, right? I don't wanna do that. I see it and I'm like, "Dang, man, I wish I could touch I wish I could just convey to you the ego getting in the way of this." Now, I'm not, discounting, that, uh, random, acts of negativity can happen and then just out of nowhere, something bad happens to you that you didn't deserve for it to happen to you. That does happen. At least, that's the perception, I guess, that that we have that's maybe another form of egotism. Um, but what I'm saying is that to be what I'm saying is that to get the attention, to get the right attention, to do the right things with the information that you have. Yeah. I mean, I'm now very much critical of myself as I say these things because now I doubt I instantly have doubt on whether or not I have the right ratios, right? I, I know I'm off in the ratios, but am I getting closer to the golden ratio? Am I getting closer to and it's not, there are multiple different golden ratios, but and if you it depends at what angle you're looking at it at. And it depend, obviously, um it's dimensional. So if you're focused on copywriting, maybe what I'm saying to you isn't going to relay because you don't understand that when the copywriting goes through multiple different filters, it it gets abstracted in such a way it becomes Picasso Picassoified, and the the quality diminishes. And I know this has been happening to me a lot. So don't this is just, this is the reality of my personal struggle. Um, so I don't know if I'm preaching to any choirs here or not. If I'm, you know, making any sense because I don't know how people I don't know how close people are to the reality that I am in. I know there is a epidemic of loneliness. There's an epidemic of toxicity. There's an epidemic of um, egotism. There's these things that are very negative energy, low frequency issues that we face that comes from that comes from being in different vibrations. Uh, and everybody needs a little bit of different vibrations. They need a little bit of one guying. They need a little bit of a peanut gallery. They need a little bit of a cheerleading. They need a little bit of, everyone needs a little bit of this. Um, but the way that they get magnetized to one thing or the other needs balance. It needs balance. And some people's measurement of balance is off. And so because they're not measuring balance for the people around them, they're measuring balance for themselves. So they end up being, you know, leeches more than they are cedars, and that's a big difficulty. Uh, I would say that's the number one challenge to overcome when it comes to affiliate marketing. If you start to level up and you start to, do things commercially, if you think about Partner Stack, if you think Dub.co, if you think Lemonade, or not Lemonade, Lemon Squeezy, if you think about Impact, if you think about CJ affiliates, if you think about any of those platforms, if you're even at that level yet, and I didn't even really want to get into that yet, but I'll put it here just to put the game on. I think it's too complex for the vast majority of y'all to get to it. So I'm very 101 here, theoretical, philosoph philosophical. I want to resonate on an emotional level with you. I want to level with you because if I really get into the logic game of this stuff, or I really get technological on y'all, you, y- it just doesn't help because I need y'all to change your frequency. I need y'all to vibrate differently. I need y'all to stop doing the thing that you think is gonna happen that's not gonna happen, which is you're going to just get a viral clip and you're just gonna become famous overnight. That's not gonna happen. And even if it did happen, you're not leveraging that into affiliate marketing. That there's maybe one of you out there that will do that. That's a 1 in a trillion, possibility that one clip will go viral, and then that will lead to virality for the rest of your life. That's just it's very unlikely. I would say vastly improbable, uh, not gonna happen. The grind is what's going to get you there, and if I was to tell you in 2020, in hindsight's 2020, I would start with copywriting. I would start with grinding on Substack. I would start with grinding on X platform, and I would grind that out till your heart's content, till your blood vessels blow, uh, because you just can't do it anymore. You've reached a ceiling because I don't know, whatever, it is. The 10,000 hours of just copywriting, and you've gotten only 1,000 followers. So then you go into podcasting, you know, and then you grind that, but you don't stop copywriting. You have to copyright at the same point in time. Maybe you use some AI functionality to seed your content with some affiliate links to you got to train a model to do that, but you got to train the model through your writing. So you train the model through your writing at the same time that you're doing X posts, at the same time that you're doing Substack posts. Then you finally get to where you're doing podcasts. And what you do with the podcast is basically reiterate what you wrote in the Substack content and in the X posts, which the X posts promote the link to the Substack, and also in the Substack, actually, it should promote to a website. Once you get to that level, then you're doing a long, in-depth, uh, basically what you're promoting, you're publishing on your blog is a very high level, almost book. If you've got your book ready, you have your book that's being sold on your website because it's a collection of the papers that you're writing on Substack, but you're tweeting them out to get them promotion through X, and then you're doing your podcast. And as you're doing your podcast, what you're doing is you're reiterating and saying the exact same words that are in your book in the long depth. Uh, whilst my computer just freaked out. Hopefully this is coming out. I would really, really be disappointed because it did black screen before. So let me double check because once again, we might be in the black screen issue. And technology, guys, technology. Let's just double check this is still functioning. Does not appear to be functioning thus far because I am a moronic individual. And if you are listening to this, I am just saying this because I am dealing with this nonsense. Let me see if we got something here. Are we coming through? Okay, we're going through. We just give 100 likes, twin. Appreciate you. Now I'm in the no, I'm up in here just listening to this stuff. Anyway, I'm promoting this path put forward. So you write the book. The book is the offer. The offer that is created through multiple different ways that you've done in Substack and promoted on X. Then boom, you get into podcasting. You're on Spotify, YouTube. You're on all the different channels. You're using that to get through. I think Apple is now releasing videos. So then now, I would say video is almost time, at least for Apple sense, into getting in the Apple ecosystem, and then bang, bang, boom. So what you do there is now that you've got your book done, you're doing your papers and your articles on Substack, you're promoting it on X, you got your podcast. Your podcast is the stuff that's in your book, but it's only a short format version of that. You're either interviewing people that are experts in your niche or their niche or whatever the case may be to promote your book. Boom, bang, boom. You then do that, and then you come over here once you've got your book and everything thing ready in the podcast. You step it up to video. You start to do live streaming, or you start to do blogs, or you start to do your podcast live, and then you do that. And then what you do from there is then you go into the next level, which is you start to do an app development, and that app is going to be an in-depth course construction of your book, and that book is then going to get comprised of different subsection segments of videos and whatnot, and then people can read the book as well as they can do the courses and the training materials, and then the training materials on there are going to be tutorials. It's going to be guides. It's going to be all the different things, and then maybe the next level to that is you start to develop a game, and the game is an ecosystem of how you learn the book, how you do all this different other stuff, and then you play all of then the next level is you somehow get into some sort of augmented community thing where you start to do webinars, and people come and attend, and they do some sort of, I don't know, some sort of networking cult like thing, and then you start to host uh a virtual VR events, and in the virtual VR events, you start to tell people, you start to kind of get them integrated, and then people are going to come in at different levels and engage, and you're going to have to hire a team and all this different stuff, and it's going to be hitting you at all different angles. If you're independent, nobody, and that's the thing. I'm talking to people who have been DMing DMing me, people who have been DMing me about their desire to be successful in affiliate marketing. They've been asking about partner stack, they've been asking about impact, they've been asking about all different affiliate platforms. They've been asking about, oh, in my area, what can I do? How can I get successful? How can I make some money? How can I do this? And then they say, oh, well, there's all these obstructions this platform doesn't allow me to do this because I don't have the accolades over here, or I'm in the wrong region. How can you have help me get access to this, and in exchange for this and that, will you do this for me? And so that's pretty much everything that we've been talking about. Yeah, yeah, that's it. I mean, in this video, in all the clips that are going to come from this are going to be about affiliate marketing. Yeah. You run a marketing agency or a one-man band? Well, that's a great question. So I have my personal brand, which is one-man band. And then I have my marketing agency, which is, bigger projects. A lot of what I do as a one-man band is production. So I'm managing multiple different podcasters, multiple different creators and whatnot of their content. And then in terms of the agency, it's outsourcing all of the more labor intensive stuff, like repurposing the content, splitting it all up, and copywriting, and just anything that's a byproduct of the piece of content that's the more complicated stuff to create, that gets outsourced to the agency. But yeah, and I mean, I'm trying to get the agency more involved in the affiliate marketing stuff. Um but they don't have a personal brand, and uh they don't have the context to do any of the affiliate marketing stuff, for me. I mean, I've even hired experts before in the affiliate marketing space, and it just takes too much time to train them. You know, it takes too much time to get them on the same page to do the thing that I have all these different avenues or streams of income that I've developed are kind of tailored to me, unfortunately. Um, it's based on all the different obstacles that I've tripped over, which I've discussed throughout this whole live stream, is starting out as a game live streamer. Well, before that, I would say I was doing talking head content, and then when live streaming became a little bit more technically accessible, uh, more like connecting my PC and console and doing the OBS live streaming thing. Do I think that AI and agentic shopping will kill the affiliate marketing game? Well, they're kind of um this is something that I was actually there still takes a human in the loop, right? Uh and so the people that are DMing me are asking the same question differently. They're saying that the market that they are in complicates the way that they have access to affiliate marketing. And so I think that's going to lead to a lot of AI content um influencing e-commerce purchasing decisions. But at the very top, and I guess I've talked about that too. So it's interesting. I like this question because it's kind of compressing a lot of it. Um at the very top, you have your celebrities and hi high vanity metric influencers that will motivate purchasing decisions. I think equally or there may be a greater value to their well, I know for the next 5 years, there's gonna be more value in the vanity metric and celebrity status, in terms of e-commerce sales and things like that through affiliate marketing. Uh, Largely though, that's not a reality. So it's like basically B-list celebrities and C-list celebrities that are gonna be driving that traffic. Um, and the agents are gonna catch up a lot quicker. I think that with faceless content, like if you think about, this is very much true in the adult content space. In the non-adult content space, maybe less. Maybe maybe in the youth content, this gets in the middle gap between like uh uncensored and censored content, which is like this middle area in between. I think there will be a thriving ecosystem of organic human in the loop content that's, monetizable. On the super censored, uh, child protected content, that's gonna be overtaken by anime and, just overall, like, slop. AI slop is just gonna be dominated in that space, driving the sales of candy, driving the sales of toys, driving the sale of video games. That's all gonna be dominated by that. Now, with the the uncensored adult content, drugs, alcohol, sex, those things are gonna be also dominated by AI agentic content. It's gonna be the things that won't be will be the what will be the hard assets, like, you know, whether you buy toilet paper, toothpaste, um, you buy soap, you buy candles, you buy, and these things will be influenced um, by AI, but not nearly as much as influencer content. Just because it's too complex. It's too the desire is too complex. It's not the word I'm looking for? It's not uh not prehistoric. It's not primal. These carnal, primal carnal interests are going to be, definitely dominated by these things. The higher level of complexity to it, if you like, if you're if you're trying to buy, I don't know, pepper, right, or ointment, uh these things, they're probably not going to be, dominated by that um as heavily, because they're too complex, they're too niche driven. um but I say that, and at the same point in time, I think fashion is one that's gonna be probably very much disrupted. But it's tough to say, because, like, true artistry, I think people can kind of see through it, and I think that people want, emotion, and they wanna feel the humanity to it. If And I'm not talking about movies, games, these type of things. I'm talking about like, true art. But then, you have people who say, like, Jackson Pollock's are, fugazi, that it was created by the intelligence community to, do to disrupt the, Soviet Union, yada yada yada, X, Y, and Z. And so there are a lot of things in in the world that are already fugazi, that are already contrived to make it. Do I think AI is gonna make it more contrived? Yeah. Do I think it's gonna, like, kill human in the loop? Not in our lifetime, I don't think. I think, well, maybe in the youth's lifetime. If you're 5 years old listening to one of these clips, which that's another concern, which is parental guidance and whatnot. Like, guess that's a you know, relatively important thing. Yes, I agree in the same way the camera didn't kill the painter. I don't think AI will kill the desire, of course, for human authenticity. Yeah, that's effectively what I'm getting into. But it it's a right brain and a left brain issue in a lot of cases, right? The logic to things would say that it doesn't make sense for anyone to want to over index on human in the loop. It doesn't make sense from a efficiency level. But from a emotional standpoint, people, you know, love and hate to, be engaged with other people in a plutonic and in a, romantic way. And they I don't think people want to head into, into now I'm speaking for Western society here. Uh, a lot of behavioral conditions in the Eastern world uh, would suggest otherwise to what we're talking about. But um, I think people in the Western world want to be have interpersonal relationships. They want to, yuck other people's yums and yum other people's yucks. And yeah, that's just kind of how it goes. That's there's that aspect is gonna continue, and I think that that's gonna continue to be monetizable for an individual and a collective potentially. Uh, which is like where it really gets complicated because like w- we're starting to see more tribalism come back. At least I'm seeing a I'm seeing a trend of tribalism coming back. Uh, where that's coming from, um, in the Western world is kind of complicated. I think it comes to coming down to kind of uh, in some ways poor leadership. Uh, because the quality of the collectivism is diminished by uh, aristocracy and the quality of the collectivism has been diminished by um, oligarchies, these things that are just not people can't collectively on the highest good of logic and emotion. Making an interesting point, East and West, perhaps in the we in the West are now, or perhaps this to the East in 100 years will admit their outsourcing of authenticity. That makes sense. Yeah, I mean, I think you're the way that you de-threaded or just untangled that Gordian knot for me. That's true. Big component marketing. I know it's a big um uh unfortunately the thing that has happened is in the in the West, like you've highlighted, is the less talented individuals, including myself, have outsourced the labor, which includes creativity, to nations that don't share the same cultural uh homogeny that we did in the West, when we all worked kind of in sing-along sense. We all sang the same song, uh, in the factories. Wow. You know, while we were while we were on the while we were picking cotton and we were, uh, pressing pressing metal, we all sang along the same old songs, and, that's not the case anymore, because the cubicle uh, there's some other saying that I'm trying to mimic here, but, uh, the, what killed the radio man? not the Radio Man. Something killed the something man, right? Uh, what is it? What is it? I'm gonna look it up. Uh, is that the right terminology? I presume. Oh, video killed the radio star. That's right. Video killed the radio star. In the same sense that radio killed the paperboy. You know, I don't. I TV killed the radio star. Yeah, yeah. That's the. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So what does it say? Video killed the radio star according to the 1979 hit song, the Bugles, symbolizing the shift from radio to television in the 20th century. The lyrics lament the loss of the past due to new fast-moving technologies. The song was famously the first music video to air on MTV. Weird. I don't know. There's something weird about my brain that I have uh these like nostalgic things stuck, that I don't think a lot of people have these like historical conundrums in their mind of like, and I think it has a lot to do with what I was talking about a lot in this live stream, and what I'm hoping to get clips out of is I was talking about the that I was my desires and my um what do you call it? The things that I like. Yeah, anyway, the things that I like, not passions, because like you don't have a passion till after the fact, but my my affinities were to the live ecosystem since there were like postage stamp sized one by one images that were coming in at 10-second frames, you know. And since I saw the motion of that in the I guess in the early 90s, like when I was a child, and then later in the 2000s when those things became more, I would definitely say when TV started to move over into video on demand, um, like I just saw live streaming, I thought it was coming, I thought it was already here. Since 2010, I thought live stream was it. I thought, boom, everything else is gonna be dead. It's gonna be live stream all the time. And TV was so resistant to it, movies so resistant to it because they wanted the intellectual property rights to be retained, and the systems did not catch up to it. And that's still to this day that hasn't happened. And I still don't understand why. And I watch as the top live streaming platforms have, and maybe AI changes this, have yet to figure out how to integrate traditional forms of art, music, television, movies into live streaming. It doesn't make any sense why there's not like just an API connection that if you're a subscriber of Spotify just gives you the rights to play music anywhere and everywhere you go, right? If you're a subscriber uh to Hulu, you can play movies anywhere and everywhere you go on your live stream. You become a curator for the things that people should care about. I mean, that's the same way that a movie theater is, that's the same way that a radio station is, the same way that a what am I missing here? Like um, um, a multi-purpose venue is for a dance hall or whatever. They pay a subscription fee, they play the thing. Maybe it um the fact that it's like in an ecosystem where it's perpetual, and so you need a perpetual license. So why not just increase that so that's trackable metric wise? Because they have an API connect. Anyway, I could go on and on and on about why these things don't have to die, but if they don't innovate and integrate into the new format, then they die, right? That's why you know music has become these bite size, sound bites that people listen to on TikTok. And it's the same reason why, and it's really, really weird that I didn't know this was the case until I was listening to, some of the live streams with Clavicure, because I just don't I'm an older generation. And this wasn't the case when I was going to the clubs and whatnot. Females think that the song Kingcraft 3000 is actually the Penn State song, and so they're all saying they play the Kingcraft 3000 song, and they're all saying, "We are Penn State." I'm like, what the heck? What is this?" That they probably do not even know that that's you're supposed to say Zombie Nation, and the Zombie Nation is the people who don't know, that it's the Kingcraft 3000 song, not the adopted aspect of it from the Penn State saying "We are Penn State" on top of on top of a song that they licensed, and I don't even know if they licensed it in 2008. So I think the thing that people are still afraid of being the reality is that the derivative of what they create is going to be more influential on the consumer than the actual original, which I think that's something that hip hop is more aware of than any other. Well, not only hip hop, but electronic music is more aware of that than a lot of other industries. Because if you think about jazz music or country music, or like these sort of intrinsic things, or not intrinsic. That's not what I was trying to say. Um, like things that are stubborn. They're a lot more resistant to it now. You're starting to see a lot of crossover into those things like rock music and country music and world music and stuff like that, that are getting these cultural crossovers. But if you start thinking about, like, if you think about Western society crossing over into other Western societies, when you think, like, Spanish doesn't really cross over into English. And when it does, it's one directional. English doesn't cross over into Spanish in the same genre breaking sense. So if somebody who speaks English tries to go do a Spanish song, they get clowned for it. If a person in Spanish comes to do an English song, they get less clowned for it and like kind of praised for it in a strange sense, because the English people who see people who are English go to a Spanish song, they criticize them for, being cultural appropriators or something like that. Um, and so that derivative doesn't really, there's definitely a resistance to it. And the same thing if you talk about any other, you talk about like Italian, or if you talk about German, or if you talk about like other Western languages. It seems like that's not the case if you go and look at like Japanese, Eastern, music. If you look at Korean music, if you look at, well, there's no real crossover English to Chinese, or to English to Hindi, or uh, Bengali, or whatever. Yeah, listen to the Bad Bunny Super Bowl show translated in English. It's funny, it doesn't translate. Well, that's one thing, but um, so yeah, there is sort of a cultural resistance to Spanish being translated to English, but if it's in Spanish, people are like, it just feels like people have just kind of accepted it, at least in the club. It's just like whatever. But you know, um, I know like Canadian artists like Drake and stuff like that. They cross over and do stuff, but these are more hip hop crossing over into other genres. Yeah, I guess Takashi 69 is a crossover artist. Um, English to Spanish that has done it big. But it's not like you hear Taylor Swift going to sing a Spanish song, or whatever. But that happens. But you see, listen to Bad Bunny, yeah. But the thing about having too many girlfriends, my 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 aunt says I have too many girlfriends, whatever. Yeah, I get it. But does that? I don't know if just like kind of like the advancement of complexity, at least in America, is you know we don't really talk about though we just don't talk about those things anymore. Um, because our concern isn't really with that type of perception, I guess, in the way that that's translated from English, or translated from Spanish into English. So it doesn't really resonate in English in the same way because, like, in the familial connection, because this could get down into some weird, political stuff. But just to say this frankly, is like in America, the nuclear family is not prioritized. Um, the thing that happened in China where the Chinese, uh, decided that because you know, for their economy to grow, they needed to restrict the amount of children that, or not their economy to grow, whatever for whatever reason, the one child policy. I There's some iteration of that that has started to plague the Americas, um, that we are maybe it was, and I don't know the full ins and outs of it, but there's the outsourcing that we did. There's a lot of complexity to it as to why we have devalued the nuclear family, amongst multiple different cultures, including but not limited to white and black culture. Maybe less so in, um, Latin cultures and in, other immigrant cultures, but definitely for white and black cultures, uh, America, for whatever reason, has decided to demonize the nuclear family. And we can deduce that down to power mechanisms, which is the same. I mean, that's the same argument as to why they did it in China, but the thing that they did in China was, you know, uh, completely contain cultural homogeny, whilst doing so, which we failed to do. Uh, at least in, I would say, maybe more broadly in the West and generically. Uh, and then that comes down to what is the West, what is the East entirely. And I would say, well, in the East, they don't have, they didn't do, they managed to integrate in cultures as opposed to what we were doing here. I don't know how we, and then but then I say, like I said earlier, I guess there's a sort of a not, they've, at least what they've done is kind of like brought those cultures in. Yeah, the way that they, I think ethnically, I think that what China has done is, if anything attempts to integrate into the ethnic homogeny of China, they just know they whatever they do is that they seem to have figured out a way to, over time, blend the genetics back into their system, or into their whatever it is. It's whatever genetically is, you would call it. Uh, it's just a much more blended society from that standpoint. Which almost like makes me think, down the line, do do they scientifically classify Western and Eastern humans differently, like they did the Neanderthals and the Homo sapiens? Like, do they, you know, classify us differently down the line, um, in terms of, um, species, you know? Who knows? I'm really not, settled on what that looks like, and it's actually probably something, like, because in a lot of ways, I think people who are concerned about, or not concerned about it, but more have, like, some sort of moral tie to, or kinda cult behavior to diversity, equity, inclusion, that aren't a part of what they think diversity, equity, inclusion are, would demonize the idea that there's something different between these cultures. But I don't know. The West has eroded that, especially in Europe. Yeah, I mean, based on what I see, uh, in my personal experience in Europe, was, I would say, well, what I engaged with, at least in Italy, was tourism, and what I engaged with in Germany was, uh, a state, basically a failed state in Germany, where you have the for a lack of a better term, uber wealthy people and very poor, immigrants, like, very poor immigrants, um, very uneducated, poor immigrants, and the ones that are the smartest immigrants in the European countries, um, and not based on appearances, would suggest that they should be, like, of equivalent intelligence as, any American, but they don't have the what, for whatever reason, if they come from, a Middle Eastern country, or they come from a semi, like, in between, they have a trouble there. Yeah, man, no worries. I appreciate you for tuning in. I'm not sure how you found this. I don't know if it's through YouTube vertical, or through YouTube, just in general, but appreciate you for stopping by. And of course, good luck in your journey with this stuff. I know we're all kind of getting started, so we're all kind of on the same level when it comes to AI and whatnot. There are a few different AI projects and whatnot that I'll be talking about, uh, through my journey. So hopefully that'll be of value to you as well. And, uh, I hope, I don't know, what's going on in England, but I know there's troubles there, man. And I know that that's tough. So a lot of the leadership complaints and stuff like that. But I appreciate you for the follow and everything like that. I am actually probably going to wrap this up so that I don't have to clip out too much content. Appreciate you. So I don't have to clip up too much content, I'm gonna wrap this up as well and close it out here in the next 15 minutes. Basically, it's good. Hopefully, in the future, like with the live streams and whatnot, we'll have more people to engage with, in maybe post production or whatnot. The first hour, I just always have to kind of like get the engine started in a lot of ways because this is like a solo production. For the productions that I do with other creators and whatnot, there's always like a team of people. There's always like the person who is in charge of the, pre-production, the person who's in charge of production, the person who's in charge of post-production and whatnot. So my job is usually with my level of detail to production. I'm always the production person and I direct pre-production and I direct post-production on these things. And so um when I come on and I talk about affiliate marketing, I'm talking about it from a personal brand sense, and I'm talking about it in some capacity in agency. Like, and I appreciate John for coming on and and asking the questions um, because we do have complications when it comes to training people on affiliate marketing internally as well, and the external component of the people, of those who see the clips, and me talking about partner stack or me talking about dub or me talking about lemon squeezy or well, I don't know why I even mentioned lemon squeezy. Let me just look at what I'm talking about. Impact, and in first party programs, uh direct partnerships, uh and what have you, or even if I talk about WAP, and I I don't know why I didn't even mention that. This whole time I haven't even mentioned WAP one time. Uh, WAP as well. I'm going through my own struggles with WAP right now, in the community, in my personal branded community, because I had the price very, very low. I had the price at $4.99 for the community, and I got bot attacked. And a bunch of people, bought the subscription and then they charged back the subscription, and then the platform, they give you a fee, and I had to discuss with the platform, what do I do about this? And so I've just decided that well, this is just the case now, and I'm trying to decide whether I bring back the free trial or I don't bring back the free trial. Community now is like, for most people, actually vast majority of people, not even affordable, because it's 499.99, 400, basically $500 per month to join the community, because I just can't have these chargebacks, because the chargebacks are $30 per month. And so if I continually have people who are 499 charging back 499 and getting hit with a $30 fee, that's just not going to work. I don't know what the price will actually end up being, but in terms of the community now, it's gonna be there, probably do the free trial thing, and then and anybody, you know, there's gonna have to be a shift in deliverables if for people who join the, like, first party community, because it wasn't a first party community in the first place. So I'm curious if somebody's gonna go to the, like, other communities, that we have, that's, like, more one-on-one, and start to subscribe to those, because those have a lower tier. uh I just had to get I had to just get it off. I couldn't keep taking $30 hits, because somebody in another country that's not even participating in the community, asking the questions that they are asking me directly via DM. um I can't be taking these hits on that, and offering, connection with the community, and then end up just answering questions directly through DM. I don't know how, solve that issue or that challenge, because it happens to all of my clients as well. Is like, they build the community, and then everybody's talking to them one on one, they're asking them the same questions one on one, and then they can't really give a you know a mass marketing answer to it. So we'll see. I mean, obviously, I'm gonna get more questions one on one because just the clips is that's how the how it ends up playing out. Uh, and a lot of it is opportunity questions. Can I get an opportunity? Okay, well, I would love to work with you. What are you looking to do? Okay, I want to do affiliate marketing. I want to do AI app development. I want to do, I want to make money. And I'm like, okay, well, here are the different avenues for us to make money. You know, I carry most of the risk, so you're gonna have to do it this way. You're gonna have to, we're gonna do a split, right? It's gonna be a split. I'm gonna give you 30%. So most of the time it's 30% of net profit off of the top of the sales that you get. And in order for you to get sales, because this is, and a lot of people will say, well, what if I just did it myself? Okay, well, that's cool. But are you starting today? Are you starting or had 10 years of experience like me doing this, and I have the established relationships and whatnot. And so, I'd love to help you get started, but in order to get started, you're gonna have to I'm gonna give you more than 0, right? So you could do it whichever way you want. You could just do it yourself, of course, but you're gonna not be able to have access to the things that I've gained access to. And I hate to say this, man, because, at the same point in time, I kind of now understand what they don't explain to you about the music business, and they don't explain to you about the movie business and whatnot, on why people who get their first chance, especially at a high level, are given an advance on a particular thing. And it's because the relationships at the end of the day. People who've been in the business for a while have relationships with organizations that will carry the that will carry the opportunity, you know, and not for nothing, you do have, virality now on the internet where, the person who is independent has, more pull than a lot of the established stuff. Uh but yeah, any love that I can get, I appreciate it as well. Just to take out a page out of Kid Cudi's book on his live stream. It was awkward, but I appreciate him for having, you know, thrown his weight out around a little bit. Uh and it's interesting because I know the person he was throwing his weight around with, and I don't think she has any authority to do or say anything she said, which is hilarious. It's like you're watching an engagement between someone who's, a B list, if not A list, I wouldn't say S tier, maybe in some components, but not in the broad picture of things. He's an A tier, arguably A tier artist. asking such a Asking someone who has no ploy, uh, or has a variable ploy, but based on the ecosystem and the platform, could or could not be there in the next minute or month, because the platform is garbage, um, and ran by imbeciles. Shout out Twitch, you imbeciles. Um, which is not in no way actually the current operators issue. Like, I mean, they burn the house down for whatever the reason they burn the house down every single time new leadership comes in goes out, and not even just the leadership, but anybody who's working there. Uh, Coming from somebody who at one point in time wanted to be involved with it at a commercial level and was knocking on the door and was refused to enter, you know? And so it is what it is, and I know those people don't work there anymore. Um, and the people who do work there are just, yeah, I mean, there are a lot of people who don't even work there that are I mean, the thing is like it's a platform influenced by the people that don't even work there, that are contractors. That's what's ironic about these platforms is like these people who work at these platforms are envious of the people who profit the most off of them, the upper leadership and the people who are contractors. Um, and I'll buy it. I'm neither not on the success level of any of them. Do you know what you could do? This is what you. But anyway, that's it. Wrapping it up here. Again, all the things TrentKnox.com. I've actually now got all the projects and everything on TrentKnox.com. Uh, I think actually 9 keys maybe become the go-to community. I think I might even I don't want to say I'm going to drop metapreneurship, but we're getting close because I feel like there's needs to be like a high net worth thing that we're doing instead of a mass collective. Who knows? I don't know what I'm going to continue to do. I'm going to try to make more content, try to make some more clips, and we'll see where it goes from there. But anyway, peace. Have a good time or have a good one. I'll talk to you soon.